Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is your Dave. I got a special guest, top walk-off funny car driver, Jonathan. How's it going, Jonathan?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. So you keeping yourself safe in these little tragic times we're having here?
Yeah, we definitely are. So we're in the auto parts business, so it definitely makes it for some interesting times and also interesting times for our customers. So it's a tough situation all the way around, but we're glad to do our little part of helping keeping things going.
Yeah, and this hopefully this blows over soon, so you can start drag racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we hope it blows over soon for everybody. You got a lot of people that need to get back to work, and we're certainly selfish and are ready to go back drag racing.
So let me ask you this, Jonathan. How did you get into drag racing in the first place?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like some of the others that are actually kind of incumbent in the pro ranks right now. So I actually started racing junior dragsters when the series first came out in 1992. We had one of the early cars out of the half-scale dragster shop. So, I'm assuming I'm doing a lot of name dropping, but really not. So actually the first Division 4 race that ever allowed juniors to run was at Houston Raceway Park in September of 92, and I runner up to Richie Stevens. So, everybody knows what he went on to do, and then obviously growing up with a great group of people there around Houston Raceway Park. Up through the years and with the Ender sisters and actually the Angel brothers that operate Houston Raceway Park and many of the others. So it's been a lot of fun. A lot of our former junior combatants, if you will, are all racing, and most of us are all married, and it's a fun phase of life right now for sure.
So how many years did you do the junior dragster thing for?
So I raced juniors from 1992 through the end of 1998, when we kind of moved up to full-size cars. My brother also raced with me. He ran Super Street, and then I got a stock eliminator car and did a lot of bracket racing. And that was, I remember, I want to say it was 1999 or 2000. We raced like 42 weekends that year. Just growing up in Southeast Texas, we always had the opportunities to race a ton. And you don't see that as much anymore unless you're willing to travel a whole pile, but we ran 42 weekends within 3.5 hours of the house, and that was, I don't know that I'd trade those times for anything, to be honest with you.
So how long did you do bracket car racing for?
So we ran kind of stock eliminator, the super classes, all of that through 2004. I actually got my alcohol funny car license in 04. Didn't actually run an event till 05. Then drove for Brad McWilliams kind of there at the end of 05. We did a few races together, and then went and drove George and Jane Etterman's Bars League Century there in 2006. And really and wet my whistle, if you will, for the alcohol cars. It was always something I grew up enjoying. Hugh Kelly and Joe Penland and those guys were from my hometown, so I was always around alcohol cars, and always thought they were extremely intriguing. Always wanted to drive them, and I remember once I finally got to it was an extremely eye-opening experience, and probably one of the more challenging cars I think myself or anybody could ever get behind the wheel of. There's a lot going on, and they're a ball to drive.
So how was your first time experience behind the wheel of an alcohol funny car?
Say that again?
How was your experience behind the wheel for the first time in the alcohol funny car?
So it was pretty interesting, actually. I went out to Frank Holly's school. We had always kind of done licensing in our own equipment in all the other categories. And I really wanted to kind of not inherit any bad habits with the alcohol cars. So I went out to Holly's. And I had actually never driven a clutch-style race car at that point. Obviously, street cars I had driven, but not a clutch race car. So Frank does a really good job kind of going through that process and making sure you're aware of where everything is. there's some great fundamentals there. But I will tell you, the first time I swapped feet, it was an eye-opening experience, a surreal experience. And when I let off the gas for what seemed like this huge distance, which was like 300 feet, I just remember gasping, going, "Oh God, what did I get myself into?" But after that, it became routine, and you start learning how to minimize kind of the big picture and just break everything down into routines of what it is.
So have you been pretty successful in the top alcohol funny car field?
You know, we in 2006 when I drove for the Ettermans, we runner up the event, won an event, a couple of low qualifiers. Didn't win any national events that year. We had an unhappy motor for a little while, but I feel like for the amount of races entered, I feel like I've had some success. You know, the class is very, very different now in the aspect of everybody's really good anymore. You know, you go to a national event anymore, and if it's a full field, used to, the top half was the top half, and now the problem is the guy that qualified 14th can step up as well. And so I've been going the last 3 years or 4 years now with Brian Brown, and he and I are college buddies, and really have had a good time, and we've been exposed to some really great people in the sport. We've got Les Davenport helping with Brian's car this year, and I kind of joke, and my little program's kind of the franchise, if you will, of Brian Brown's program, and I just kind of piggyback and get to run when I can. I don't have the budget to go run 10 races or anything, and frankly, nor the time right now. I've got a wife and young kids, and we get to go with Brian quite a bit, and then we take obviously some information that we learn with his car over to my car, and between myself and Chase and Clay Copeland and Les Davenport, we have a really good time with that program for sure.
Now, do you have a brand new car coming out, or are you just getting a new paint job on it?
No, this is a new car that we've put together the last couple of years. It was originally a McKinney car that was never finished, and then we took it to Chase Copeland and had some things done to it. Chase is a great fabricator, and we finished the car, and honestly, it was wrapped, and I've just always kind of been a paint guy, so we wanted to go back and paint it and make it pretty, and funny cars were always kind of known for wild paint jobs and smoky burnouts, and I'm kind of a drag racing historian myself, so that's the route we went with that.
Now I see you're going to be doing a funny car chaos.
Yeah, we're going to definitely do 3 or 4 of the funny car chaos events that we can. Obviously, with what's going on in the world right now, not knowing when everybody's going to get back to go racing, we want to support Chris as much as we can. Chris and Tara Graves and that Funny Car Chaos program is really a neat deal, and a lot of the races are pretty close to home. Everybody has a great time at those events, and frankly, it's a great opportunity for us to get to test, make laps, and try things. It's the biggest thing that we all deal with is getting everybody together and the time to go run the cars. So to have something like that close to home in smaller venues that really get a lot of people out to them is just such a blessing. So we're gonna do as much of that as we can.
Yes, I saw somebody commenting saying maybe you're going to give Kenny Singleton a run for his money.
Oh, we hope so. Ken Singleton's got a really, really good program over there right now that deals a torque converter car, and they've got that deal figured out pretty well. I mean, we certainly feel like we have something that we could potentially run with them, but I don't want to stick my finger too far out there until we get some laps down. But it should be interesting. We'll definitely go give them hell anyway.
Now, what do you usually run? Quarter mile or eighth mile?
So the NHRA stuff with us is typically quarter mile. The main thing with any of these cars is if you get them to run the eighth mile, you pretty well have the rest of it whipped. as far as just being able to get down. You know, so much of what we do involves getting through the shake zones and so forth, which is the front half of the track. So as long as we can utilize those opportunities to make it as best as we can, we should be in good shape.
So now, what's the quickest pass you've made in a Aka funny car?
I went 561 at like 258 or 9 back in 06, maybe 256, which is pretty sporty back then. I haven't been in the 40s or anything, but you know, the 50s were kind of a big deal in 06. So, you know, we've got all new Noonan motors with a car. We've got a couple of those, and you know, some tried and true pieces. So I think we have the parts and pieces to do what we need to do. It's I don't know if I definitely don't have a 530 budget, and so we want to be able to go out and go up to another racetrack, and if we can go out there and go, you know, go low to mid 50s and stay within ourselves, and you know, I think we'll accomplish our goals.
No, do you have any sponsorship at all?
You know, we have a little bit. I'm really big on relationships, and the folks, Richard Freeman and Michael Brotherton, the guys at Elite Motorsports, have definitely helped me in a lot of areas. I've been a customer of theirs for a long time, and Michael and I have been buddies, and you know, they've certainly stepped up to the plate and helped us in a lot of areas that wasn't asked from them, and they certainly didn't need to do. We've got Empire Iron Works, which is Brian Brown's company. You know, just we're buddies, and it's important to give him some recognition, even though he wants none. Boost Performance Products, which is a phenomenal oil for these cars. Brent Johns and his group has really stepped up the plate and helped us a lot. I was with NGK Spark Plugs for 14 years, and you know,
Bear with me, folks. I don't know what's going on. I believe that's on Jonathan's end, though. Jonathan. Maybe I'll call him back. Hold on, everybody. Let me call him back.
Hey, don't forget to stay connected with us at home. That is now your office. iHeartRadio app, you can download it, listen from your phone or your smart speaker. We're here for you wherever you are. I hurt myself.
Wow, no. Okay, that was weird. Hold on, everybody.
I lost you there, didn't I?
Yeah, all I heard was like Nirvana music playing. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like blasting Nirvana music. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
I think it kicked over to the Bluetooth deal. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So now you were in the bit. you were talking about sponsors. NG,
Where'd I lose you?
like NGK spark plugs, I think you were talking about.
Oh, yeah. NGK was with us for a long, long time, and we weren't able to get the car out and run last year, and so they picked up a couple other people this year, which we certainly understand and can appreciate. But they were with me for 14 years, and just as a sport, I appreciate what they do within our sport, and we sell their products every day. We still run their products, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity to get back on the program one day. But Hoosier Tire Southwest has helped us a great deal with tires, and Chase and Clay Copeland with Copeland Race Cars just goes above and beyond, and a lot of people don't realize that he's about 30 years old, and to have the amount of talent that he does at building A-fuel cars and really funny cars, even though we've stumbled a little bit with Brian's car, he's just a great asset. He's a great guy, and he's good people to have around. Let's see, man, we get so much help. I mean, just from friends and so forth. And, a lot of this program wouldn't even be possible if it weren't for Steve Burke. And, he's just a close personal friend of mine. I love the guy, and appreciate the opportunities he's given me in life on a couple of occasions. So, and I'm sure I'm forgetting, like I said, DMP awnings. Those guys are awesome. If anybody needs an awning, you need to reach out to Dean and his team, because talk about in-house program and just a neat guy that supports the alcohol classes, both as a racer and as a sponsor of events and so forth. And Simpson Race Products has been I've been a Team Simpson driver since I was 16 years old, and there's been a lot of companies that have come and gone and offered free stuff and this, that, and the other, and I've never swayed. I've got a personal relationship with a lot of people there, and as I've told several people, if you want to know the difference between a Simpson suit and some of the others, just go get a torch out, play with a torch on it. You'll find out real quick what you want to be in. So, I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. There's a lot of associate help there, but we can't do a lot of what we do without them.
Right. So now, who are all your crew members?
So, I get to piggyback a little bit with Brian and them. So Brian Brown and Chase Copeland and Clay Copeland will always kind of be around the program. But we also have some guys, again, we grew up racing with. My buddy David Preegee, who I've known since I was 6 years old. He's coming out. He's got a lot of experience. He used to work with Billy Socklin and those guys when they were on the Bad Niner cars. I've got Gary Miller, who used to work with Daryl and Chris Russell, and then Richard Hogan and some of those guys when Melanie Troxel was running, and was also over there when David Powers put their program together. He's going to come in as a clutch specialist, and then we've got Don Nolan from over in Kentucky. He comes down and helps as well, and he's just a fun guy. He such a storied history with that guy. And what his purpose in life has changed to since his daughter's passing, and we got a good group of guys. We have a lot of fun, and that's what this has to be about.
Now, do you have any drag racers that were like influential to you?
Do you have any drag racers that what?
That were influential to you?
Yeah, I would say. Again, I'm kind of a dork on this. I mean, I always look for the guy that maybe emulates or is similar to the things that I've dealt with. And, I mentioned earlier that Michael Brotherton, those guys, have certainly been friends and so forth. And knowing his history and how he got going, it gives guys like me a little bit of enthusiasm that, you got to stick to it. As I call it, stick-to-itiveness. You got to stay after it and keep going, and have your game plan and your standards. Steve Torrance is a really, really good friend of mine, and I've known Steve since we were teenagers. I know his family's history. I know where their hearts are and their passion is and so forth. And so, you know, regardless of anything else, you know, we always try to do our best. And you know, I would say between those people that I just mentioned, the way that they present themselves, their equipment, and themselves in life is important, you know. So.
Now, does your family still back you up in your drag racing?
Yeah. You know, I'm actually really fortunate. So my wife and I met in college, and the first couple of years we dated, she tagged along with my dad and I as we went racing. So she certainly understands the ins and the outs of this. And you know, when we were going alcohol racing before, you know, 15 years ago, she was so influential in helping me attain some marketing partners and you know, roles change a little bit now. We've got kids, so they don't always get to come, and most of the time when we're going out of town, they don't, just because the kids have things going on. But you know, my dad's always been supportive. My mom enjoys hearing about what we have going on, and you know, it's a pretty fun deal. I kind of run my own deal and kind of do things as I see fit. But it's nice to go home and know that they care and want to know what's going on. And my son likes to come out and play at the shop with me and kick tires and, you know, sit in the car and grab the steering wheel.
So how old are the kids?
So my son is 7.5. My daughter is about a little bit older than that. Son will be 8 in August. My daughter will be 4 in July. So, good ages, fun times.
So does your daughter like drag racing?
My daughter's the daredevil of the two. That's the scary part. She may be the one that does my wife and I in later in life. She's gonna give us a run for our money, that's for sure.
So maybe you'll get a junior dragster for her?
Man, I don't know. You know, the junior program was great for us. My wife and I don't know really where we are on that right now. You know, I think it adds a lot of opportunities for kids. My son is really big into sports. My daughter likes her dance classes and so forth. She's still a little bit of a tomboy at times, but we'll we'll approach that when that time comes. We want them to still be kids, and you know, so much of anymore. You gotta take off and go pretty much all weekend to run the junior car deal anymore. And I don't know that we're quite there for that.
Now, when you're out on the starting line, Jonathan, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all when you're out there?
Yeah, I'm not a real big superstitious person. My dad was real big on superstition with racing, and I just never really have been. I mean, there's the people that say you can't eat peanuts at the racetrack, don't wear green, and so on and so forth. I mean, I've had green on dirt cars that we won more features than the other car with. So I'm a big person on preparation. You know, my deal, much like a lot of others, I have the same kind of steps and routine. When I put my gear on, I walk around the car the same way. I check the parachutes before I go underneath the body. Those are kind of your normal, almost routine things, but I wouldn't say that there's anything superstitious or ritual.
Now, how do you get your mind mentally focused for a race?
That's a good question anymore. I think my biggest thing is, I think once I'm in and I'm strapped in, I kind of have that time to myself. Just turning everything else off, I think, is the most important thing. So I would say just kind of that quiet time once you're strapped in and you're being pulled around.
Now, what kind of preparation goes in get the car ready for the weekend of drag racing?
You know, so the main thing is you know, everything you do is based off a number of runs, whether it's rods or pistons. You know, we're pretty big on maintenance and everything at the racetrack when we can, so that we know that if anything bigger needs to be done. The main thing, though, as far as being back at home, is the amount of time you spend on clutch disc and floaters. I would say that's the biggest thing, is the time you got to spend. You know, if you know where you are, intervals with rods and pistons. I mean, obviously there's going to be races that you're going to be putting rods and pistons on it. You hope it's about every other race if you do well, but I would say your clutch program is probably your most time-consuming piece between races at this point.
Now, what are some of your favorite tracks to race on?
For me, I grew up at Houston Raceway Park, so I really enjoy Houston. I've got a lot of family and friends that typically go to those races, and it's fun to catch up with some people that, you only see once or twice a year. I've always done well at the Motorplex, so I enjoy the Motorplex. I really like Topeka. We don't really get to go up there anymore, but just a track that's worth visiting is Vandermeer Speedway in Denver. It's just such a cool facility. We ran junior nationals there a few years and just really always enjoyed going up there.
Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
All my stuff comes through Simpson. We've got Simpson suit and boots and the head and neck restraints and so forth. I mean, pretty well literally everything I wear comes from them, whether it's helmets or so forth. I mean, I'm big on safety. I think that's one reason that my wife doesn't completely object to what I do. But, we wore Hans devices before they were mandated, and just always kind of been one that tries to stay on top of that stuff.
Okay. Now, what would you consider to be the milestones of your drag racing career?
Where would I consider the milestone to be, or
no? What would be your milestones?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm big on context, if you will. So, for me, kind of where we are right now, I'd love to get to the point where we go win a regional championship. I like the fact that we can go out there and be at races with the Bartones and the Whiteleys of the world. Can I go head-to-head with those guys? Probably not on a regular basis. And I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. I need to be able to go out there and go 550 up and down the racetrack every round before I can worry about going 540s or on good racetracks if those guys can throw out a 30. So I would say, for where I am, the next few years of my life with other things I've going on, if we get to a point that we could win a regional race, a couple of them, or even a region championship, that would tickle me to death.
Now, Jonathan, throughout your drag racing career, have you had any accidents or close calls at all?
Yeah, I've actually been pretty fortunate. The only thing I've ever had happen drag racing-wise is we had a chute that got caught up over the wall that pulled us over next to a wall and kind of just barely crushed a set of headers. And the only other thing I've done is we had one come apart in a small fire in Memphis back in '06, but other than that, I've been really fortunate in the fact that I've never really had anything happen.
Well, knock on wood, Jonathan, you won't have any accidents.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Like Doug Gordon had that very unfortunate incident last year.
Yeah, that was a scary deal. Doug's done this game a long, long time. He's got a lot of runs underneath his belt, and he is not typically one that's going to drive over the edge. So, we all kind of knew it was getting late, and when you saw what happened, I mean, there was no way for him. That guy's as good as they come, and he was unfortunately hanging on once the thing kind of hung a left on him there.
Yeah. Good thing is these cars are built pretty safe now.
They are with the head pads and everything that we have, and if you watch that video in slow mo, or even the incident that Andy Bowl had, the fact that both those guys bounced out as quick as they did is really just a testament to those that have built the cars and the rules that get it.
Yeah. All right, now I'm going to ask you some fun questions here.
Okay.
Outside of drag racing, you have any other hobbies?
I work a lot. I work a lot, and I actually enjoy doing projects around our house. My wife and I were both architecture majors, and I think that's one thing that we still enjoy doing. We've done that since we first got married. We go in and start these random projects, and whether it's remodeling bathrooms or what have you. I enjoy working in my yard. I really get a kick out of trying to make my yard look like a golf course. And then I just enjoy hanging out with my kids and my wife.
Do you do gardening?
I'm not a great gardener. I can plant some roses and stuff, but don't ask me to lay out a flower bed.
Now, you like to make your yard look like a golf course. You go golfing at all?
Did you ask if I'm a golfer?
Yeah, I said you like making your yard look like a golf course. Then I said, do you like golfing at all?
Yeah, I actually do. So one of the funny things is my son is, as I told you, is almost 8. He's been taking golf lessons for going on 3 years now. So he and I like to go play golf. I don't know that anybody would want me on their pro-am team, but I enjoy going playing.
Have you ever gone fishing?
So I joke about this sometimes. So the last time I went fishing before my son wanted to go fishing a couple of years ago I was about 5 years old. So I had about a 30-year gap in my fishing program. And my son enjoys going every now and then, and we randomly went when we were on vacation last year, the Lake of the Ozarks, and actually caught a few fish. So that was pretty fun.
So how many trophies have you won in your drag racing career?
Oh man, I would say I don't know. There was a room full of them at my dad's house for a long time. I don't know that I could really put a number to that. At least 50. But they're a lot harder to win now than they used to be, it feels like.
Now, do you have a greatest competitor in Top Alcohol Funny Car?
I don't know that I'd say that. I think all of them are probably tough competitors. Like I said earlier, everybody's pretty good right now, and everybody's equipment's really good. So I would say just the guy in the next round. You know, you still got to get by all of them to keep moving.
Now, if you were able to do time traveling, Jonathan, and go back into time, would you do anything differently with your drag racing career?
You know, that's a tough question to answer. I think that there was probably times in my life that I'd have said that I would have loved to have the opportunity to go a few more years when we stopped at the end of '06 and the Ettermans retired. And there's times that I would say that I'm actually really fortunate the way that things played out, because you learn to appreciate certain things more and more. And I certainly appreciate some of the positions I've been in since then, just to grow personally and have some opportunities and learn to put some things in perspective. You know, sometimes if this stuff comes too easy, you lose the opportunity and the ability to cherish some of the times that you have.
Now, when you and the family have time to go on a vacation, do you have a favorite vacation getaway?
My wife will tell you the beach all the time. But you know, we like to try to go places we haven't been, for sure. We typically kind of do a family vacation with her family. We try to do one once a year, and we've gotten to go to some pretty cool places. So I don't know. I don't know that we have a favorite one, but we've certainly enjoyed most all the ones we've been on. So that's hopefully we'll just continue that trend.
All right, now, what is your favorite? What's your favorite food that you like to eat?
depends on what kind of day I've had. There's we certainly like Italian food. I'm from Southeast Texas, so I love Mexican food. And Loopy Tortillas needs to open a restaurant in Waco would certainly help our situation. Yeah, I would say Mexican or Italian.
Now, does your wife cook?
I'm sorry?
Does your wife cook?
She does.
So
She's actually extremely good cook.
So what's your favorite dish that your wife makes?
Lasagna. It's like old school, like Italian heritage, amazing lasagna. It is awesome.
Sounds good. Now, what's your favorite beverage?
Non-adult, probably be water. Adult beverage, either red wine or our margarita, or Brian Brown Special, which is the bi-bubble drinks and vodka.
Now, do you have a favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time has to be Smokey and the Bandit or Days of Thunder, because I'm a racing person. They're great.
Both good movies.
Yeah.
Good old Burt Reynolds and Tom Cruise.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so what's your favorite music to listen to?
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. It could be anything from old school country to kind of Texas red dirt country. So I always joke, and my wife will tell you too, that I know most of the words to the majority of the oldie songs out there, because you know, when we were kids we listened to CDs.
Right.
And my dad and stepmom had this box collection of all the hits from like 1955 through 1969. So oldies rock and roll played a big part of my childhood. So yeah.
Now, when you were growing up as a child, what was your favorite cartoon to watch?
But there was that stint that Speed Racer existed, so that was always a good one. But probably my favorite cartoon was when I was a kid, Mickey Mouse. Now it'd be Family Guy.
All right, now what is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is probably cleanliness. For whatever reason, I'm just anal when it comes to cleanliness. I like things nice and clean. And I hate disorganization, even though there's people in my life who will probably tell you that I get that way every now and then, but I usually have to get to a point that I have enough stuff and clean everything up.
All right, now, what would you consider to be your most embarrassing moment out on the track?
Man, that's a tough one. I mean, a good one that I can think of here recently. We were trying to get my license cross-graded last year at Tulsa, and we didn't get down the first couple, and we needed another run. So we took a bunch of timing out of it, and I went out there, and I just, for whatever reason, I'm like, I got to get down there. And I poked in second gear, and my mind's telling me to wait, and my hand's telling me to go, and I just shove it right in high gear, so it just labors completely through the middle. That was pretty embarrassing, just because I know better.
Yeah. All right, now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your drag racing career?
I would say winning the division championship in '96 in juniors. That was a pretty big deal for me. Joe Penland actually sponsored my junior car at that point. They had won the division in the world the year before. So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. And then, I'd say a comparable memory was winning Topeka in '06.
Now, Jonathan, if people that are listening to the interview want to, follow you, where you're going to be at and all that good stuff, what's the best way for them to see where you're going to be racing at?
So we have a website. It's JKJ Motorsports. A lot of people always like, what's it stand for? It's just Jonathan and Katie Johnson. So jkjmotorsports.com. You can find us on Facebook at JKJ Motorsports, Twitter at JKJ Motorsports. I think I'm on Instagram. You can find it under JKJ Motorsports, but it may be under J Johnson 415. And I'm pretty sure we still have a YouTube channel under JKJ Motorsports as well.
Awesome. Well, Jonathan, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to do the interview.
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity for sure.
No problem. And I hope you stay safe during this, the times we're having with the coronavirus going on.
Yeah, you guys as well, and everybody else out there, kind of follow whatever advice is being given in your area, so we can hurry up and get past this.
Yeah, wash your hands for 20 seconds, stay 6 feet away, and all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
You have a great night, Jonathan. Thanks again. We'll do another one in the future.
Thanks, man. You as well. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.